That's another hot one, and I'm not talking about the temperature, I'm talking about the climate of the talent right here under the master's tent. Are you ready for another one? And I tell you, this is the place to be on that end. Right over there, he's got a new album out. It's called 3D. Please welcome Driessen. And boy, what I love about this festival, I've got a lot of new favorite bands, and a new favorite band that's not here of mine is the Ducks, and Jordan McConnell's out here from the Ducks. The name of this workshop is Songs of the Traveling Daughter, and that's the project that Abigail Washburn did recently. She's going to be telling you about other projects she's got going on. Her new album is Songs of the Traveling Daughter. Right here, who's helping her out on cello, Sollee. He's a solo musician, also played with great Otis Taylor, and he's helping out Abigail Washburn with her project. And from another new favorite band, Uncle Earl, Abigail Washburn.
guys wanted to hear some more stuff. This is really exciting. Yay. Thanks for coming back. I think Ben and I should do one in Chinese that we do a lot when we are on the road together. This one is called The Lost Ram. And hey Casey, do you have to get anywhere today, or like during this set? Or Casey is so busy this festival.
I'm here just for you.
Baby.
You can count on me.
How would you say that in Minnesota?
Oh, I'll be here most of the time.
Casey and I are both from Minnesota. Oh, we sure are, yeah.
Sure are.
It's true.
We like to eat hot dish.
I love hot dish. I love hot.
It's a bad
Tuna
rap.
noodle casserole is definitely the best one.
It gets a bad rap if you haven't had it, you know, it's kind of like that hot dish, whatever. But then once you have it, you realize how amazing, comforting, a good hot dish is. We can make some converts if you're not a hot dish fan.
That's the truth.
What is it?
Yeah?
What is it? Well, usually you got some. I'm not giving my recipe out. Wait a minute.
Casey,
Cook
when you
it
say
workshop.
it definitely has something to do with cream of mushroom soup.
Yeah, some sort of, yeah. Or cream of celery works too. Tater tots, cheese, ketchup, and sort of meat and vegetable really in any sort of order you want. No pasta. No. That's the Canadian version with the pasta.
I have to mention that Jordan and the entire band, the Ducks, are from. Say it.
Winnipeg, Manitoba.
Lay it on thick.
That's why I didn't get a mic.
Do they serve casseroles in China? Now that is a great segue into this next very depressing Chinese song. Thank you, Kate. I started writing songs in Chinese a couple of years ago when actually the two men are in the room that sort of inspired me to write my own first Chinese song. Ira and Saul Gitlin are here, and there was a story of being in the hallway at the... Guys over there? Hey guys. Yeah. I had this amazing experience where I was basically getting ready to go move to China to take... I'd taken the law exams in Montreal in Chinese for Chinese law school, and I was going to China to become a lawyer in China and study at a Chinese law school. And I think I said that 3 different ways. Okay, and are you laughing? Anyway, so what ended up happening was I was going to go on this sort of soul-searching 6-week jaunt down the Northeast. I was living in Vermont at the time. I was going to go down the Northeast and down to Nashville, and I was going to check out a bunch of banjo music and cool ballad singers in the hills, and I wanted to go to the International Bluegrass Music Association conference, which I'd been hearing about forever in Louisville, Kentucky. And so I went there, and I had just learned a couple chords on the banjo and could sing a couple songs, and my good friend Megan Gregory is here actually at Gray Fox teaching. She's a great fiddle teacher from Johnson City, Tennessee. And anywho, she and I sort of met up in the hallway at IDMA. It's one of those old stories where you just kind of meet somebody like here at Gray Fox and start jamming, and you hardly know each other's name. And well, before you know it, we were surrounded by record executives, and they asked us to come to Nashville to cut a demo together. And so I put off my trip to China, and we went to Nashville and we cut a demo for Sugar Hill Records. They've been a big part of me becoming an artist. Yeah, it's a cool thing. Even though I'm not on their label, but they've been extremely supportive and telling me I should do this stuff. And anyway, I met Casey Driessen that night in that hallway, and we've been really dear friends ever since, and he's gone to China with me twice already. And anyway, my whole life changed that night, and before you know it, I was in Nashville playing music. I had gotten a job at a biotech company. I was running our wholly owned subsidiary in Shanghai, and before you know it, I was translating a contract, a warehousing contract from Chinese into English, and I needed some help, and I went to the Tennessee Foreign Language Institute, and I met this woman, and she helped me translate this contract, and her name's Jing Lee, and we started writing some songs together, or at least I wanted to show her a song that I had an idea for, which was instigated by this fellow over here named Ira Gitlin, who was in the hallway that night at the IBMA. See, it's all coming back together. And he recorded me singing a song I had translated of Gillian Welch's into Chinese, and he sent it to his brother Saul, who was up in New York. And before you know it, I get an email from Saul saying, you know, if you have some material in Chinese, we'd love to use it for the first Chinese reality TV show. That was literally 2 weeks or 3 weeks, or no, maybe it was a little more after that, but it took a couple months maybe, but before you know it, I'd gotten this email from him, and I thought to myself, now I could record some traditional songs, or I could, you know, translate some more traditional American songs, or whatever, and I ended up deciding to just write some songs in Chinese, and this is one of them, and it's called Mi Tu De Gao Yang, and it's featured on the Chinese reality TV show when, I'll tell you about that afterwards. But essentially it's about a fellow that I taught English as a second language to when I lived in Vermont, in Montpelier, and I was actually the English teacher for about 7 guys. The entire Chinese population of Montpelier, Vermont worked at the China Star restaurant, and I was their English teacher, and you would know about that in small upstate towns, wouldn't you? Yeah. Anyway, this one fellow in particular was having a really hard time learning the language, and I had him over to my house a couple of times to just help him along, teach him some food vocabulary, have him for dinner, you know, that kind of thing. And one night he showed up at my house and he looked so sad. And I said, 你怎么回事啊? And he said, what's wrong? What's wrong? And he said, look for yourself. And he handed me, and he handed me a letter, and I opened it up. And it was from his wife in China. And it said, you've been in America for 4 years now, and I don't think you're ever coming home. And I don't think I'm ever coming there to be with you, so your child and I are going to start a new life without you. And he'd really just come to America to make a paycheck to send home to his family, and so he lost all his sort of reason for being, and he really broke down in that moment and cried. And it was quite a thing to witness, and Jing Li and I turned this into a song. 迷途的羔羊, The Lost Lamb. Chinese reality TV show. Let me give you the premise. There were basically these ethnic subgroups within Chinese people, and there were basically 4 opposing teams on a scavenger hunt throughout the United States. And I believe one was like from Taiwan, one group was from mainland China, one was Chinese living overseas in the United States, and then there was one more that I can't remember. It was something like that. Hong Kong, thank you. And then there was Hong Kong. I'm probably a little wrong, but the general idea is there. And they were competing, doing all this stuff along the coastline. And well, there was this one very, very sad point in the show where one of the teams lost their rental car.
Being on the road, you kind of know.
That's
really kind of hits you.
It's a big deal.
It is.
Yeah, that was a very good placement.
You lose it, you buy it.
So thanks again, Saul. All right, well maybe we'll do Deep in the Night. We'll do another original here. Yo. Deep in the night, I hear the darkness, bones to the body, resting in songs. I hear the calling, life's sweet embrace, resting too soon. Deep in the night, I feel the stardust, blue tells of heaven, fall from the sky. I feel the shadows, time's own longing, falling away. Deep in the night, I pray a candle to tell the snowfall, wait for sunrise. I pray a halo, man's gold morning, holds through the night. Yo, yo, yo. maybe, do you guys have one or two questions that I could, anything of interest? I saw that way back there. He said, I talked a little bit about academics and music, but I haven't talked about the voice yet. And, well, I first realized that I love singing when I saw The Love Boat. Do you guys know that? I'll preface this with the fact that my dog was definitely my best friend when I was young, and spent all kinds of time with him, and we both sort of realized our talent together at the same time. When after watching The Love Boat, I started going, "The Love Boat, so exciting and new. Come aboard, we're expecting you. The Love Boat." Anyway, it's really true, and my dog had a little more body and volume to his. Oh, you were being subdued. Okay, cool.
I don't know if you wanted me to be a dog.
Thanks, Casey. My mom overheard it a couple weeks later when my dog and I kind of ended up doing that a couple times a day, every day, and my mom overheard it when we were getting it to a pretty developed state, and she thought it sounded real good, and she made me do it for my dad and my brother, and anyway, I went and they had me join the school choir after that, and I just have been in choirs ever since, basically, and I never was a star in the choir. I had to try out for all those solos. Nobody chose me, but then I started playing the banjo and singing, and now I get to be in front of a microphone all the time.
Consequently, there's a track on Casey's new album where he plays and has his dog sing.
It is so good. It's the last track, right?
It's pretty amazing.
It is
It's
really
operatic.
incredible.
Minus.
There's
What's that?
some harmony for sure.
Yeah, there's a little bit. He kind of always howls around the same pitch, within a certain area, so you kind of tailor what you're playing based on him. Works out pretty nice. Sometimes he only really does it when he's tired, so when if he's laying in the room when I'm practicing or something like that, sometimes it's kind of like he's possessed. And he can't stop it. He'll be laying on his side, and his head will just kind of pop up. And he just goes for it, and he won't stop until I stop. So I have to make him leave the room after a certain point, because I just can't get anything done. He's a good boy. You took some voice from a friend of ours, though, in Nashville.
That's true.
Right?
I did, yeah. There were actually two people in Nashville. Once I started realizing I was going to be singing a lot, I started taking some voice lessons from some people I knew that were already great singers. And I said, "Can you teach me?" And one was this woman, Kate, who's a great opera singer, and she's in O, the Cirque du Soleil O, singing high soprano, or I don't know what it was, but anyway, she showed me a lot about breath control and warm-ups and things like that, which have done a lot. And then the other place, gotta go get voice lessons over there. And then another one was this beautiful woman, Robin Wiley, who passed on this past year, and she gave me a lot of tips. And beautiful woman, I wish she wasn't gone. And then I also was in a black gospel choir twice, which kind of showed me how to do things wrong in all the right ways. And I learned how to yell, sing and yell, and it's one of my favorite things to do. In fact, maybe what we'll do next is, I've been doing some collaborative stuff with Chinese people, Casey and Ben and I, when we were, fortunately Jordan wasn't there. You're gonna come with
Does
us.
it get better the more we bring it up, or worse the more we bring it up? We wish you were there.
Casey and Ben and Bela and I were in China.
Not Jordan, right?
Yeah,
Don't think he was
unfortunately.
there.
And, we do some collaborative work with different bands. There's just such a cool scene going on in Beijing right now, where they're luckily I've gotten to meet up with some kindred spirits that are also young string bands in Beijing that had moved there to sort of be a part of the new sort of underground art scene and music scene. And there's two bands in particular, one called Is, that's from northwest China in Xinjiang province. They're basically IZ, yeah. And they're basically a Kazakh band that grew up in China and learned this kind of, like bluegrass and old time music, learned from their parents, and moved to Beijing to sort of play the clubs, and then all acoustic. And then another one called Hangai, and it's the same idea from Mongolia. And so we've gotten to do a bunch of gigs with them over in Beijing, and I hope they come here someday and we can do some stuff over here. But they play things like the dombra and the Jew's harp and have crazy Uzbeki melodies and things like that, and really, really cool. But anyway, another part of the Chinese music tradition is certainly the Han music, and the Han is the ethnic majority in China, and they have a deep well of traditional folk music. And Ben and I learned one of these to do together for a Chinese symposium we did a couple weeks ago in Cincinnati. And I learned it for the first time when I lived in Sichuan about 8 years ago. And it's Sichuan is in the western part of China, right at the foot of the Himalayas that lead up to Tibet. And so there's a lot of, actually the western side of the province is mountainous, and they have a music much like Appalachia does. And they have work songs and love songs and all kinds of things. And I learned this one called 太阳出来, and that means we're happy working in the sun. And believe you me, a number of times in Chinese history, people were very glad to have work at all. And so this was a very, very popular song. And I learned quite a bit about how to sing it one night when I was in a cab in Beijing. And I got in the cab, and this cab driver said to me, "Oh, 你是哪个国家来的? What country are you from?" I said, "America." 美国. He said, "Oh."
So I mean Canada.
I mean Canada. Oh. Lucky dog. And I could tell this guy did not like Americans very much, nor did he like America, and something came out about Bush after that, and I quickly was like, "Hey, I know a Chinese folk song." And he said, 你会吗? 好吧，唱一点吧. I said, "Oh, really? Give me a little of that then." I said, "Okay." 太阳出来喽，儿喜洋洋哦，浪若桥起扁担，浪浪贼光贼，双双扛哦，浪若。And he looked at me and he went, And what do you know? Put his hands on the wheel and he pulled it over to the side of the road and stopped the cab on the road. It's the truth. And I was like, oh God, I really did something here. And he got out of the cab and he went around to the front and he was like, they don't do this in China, that's rude. Go like this. And he, come here. So I get out of the car. And I'm like, okay, all right. And he looks at me and he says, 你不能这样唱中国的民歌. You can't possibly sing Chinese songs like that. It's pathetic. And immediately, he stood up. Looked at me.
traffic is backed up behind you guys.
Oh, but that's okay in China.
That's totally fine. They all understood what was going on, I'm sure.
They're like, oh, a real man, teacher, come on. He said singing is not about the right notes, it's about how you sing the notes. He said it's about spirit and life. Well, so I've kind of adapted his thoughts to my own, and we've met somewhere in the middle, and we're going to do this one for you now. It's called, oh, I should stand up, I just kind of, it's called Kayang Tulai. Again, we're happy working under the sun. Yes. I'm going to try and learn a song, and I know a couple more Chinese songs, traditional Chinese tunes. We're going to learn some more, but I'm going to try and learn some in Tibetan. So when we go up to, I don't know if you heard from the main stage, but we're going to go to Tibet and to China on tour for about I guess 3.5 weeks or so, and we're going to be the first ever U.S. music group that's without Jordan going to Tibet. So we're going to miss you, man. But we're going to go up to Tibet for a couple of weeks and try to sort of find a good connection with a bunch of folks around there through music. And we're going to do the same in China, so please tell your friends and loved ones that live in China or know people in China, or for God's sake, come to China. Hang out with us. A good place. And if you want to keep in touch, I know I ran out of CDs earlier at the merch tent, and there's more there now, in case you went to get one and there wasn't any there. And there should also be an email list, so you can learn about when we're coming to your area. Because Ben and I actually, with Jordan,
I don't believe you.
we're going to go on tour for the next couple of days. We're going to be in Burlington, Vermont, and then we're going to be in New York City, and then we're going to be in Teaneck, New Jersey. We are going to be opening for his band, The Ducks. So come if you can to Mexicali Blues on Thursday night, 20th. And then Ben and I are on tour all the time up in the Northeast, and sometimes we're lucky enough for any one of these two or Bela to sit in with us at various shows. So you never know what you're going to get, but we'd love to see you out there. So keep in touch, put your name on the email list, or just keep watch over the website, because we'll be around. And I suppose I think we have time for one more. Okay. Do you have questions for any of the other guys? I wanted to kind of, okay. I also wanted to just sort of point out that Ben's a really great solo artist of his own right, and plays the cello and does his own gigs and stuff too. He's got a great album called Turn on the Moon that you want to check out. And if you don't have the Ducks album, you need that. And certainly, you'll be back here at 5 to see Casey today anyway, so you don't need to hear any more about that. Okay, I'll take one question back here.
Is Banjo well known in China, and how was it received when you showed up in Ancramdale?
Right. Is the banjo well known in China, and how was it received when we showed up with 2 banjos, not just one? But I would say a lot of people know that there's a happening bluegrass scene in Japan, but in China there's really not much of one at all. No, there's really no scene at all, and not a single. There's a real weird guy I met in Shanghai who played banjo and trumpet or something like that. But anyway, that might change with the more years the Sparrow Quartet goes over there. But the response to the banjo was really cool because we did a lot of educational seminars and stuff like that too. And we spent a lot of time with other musicians, so they got to sort of hold the banjos and try them out, and we got to try out their instruments. And I would say, generally speaking, there was a familiarity with the sound and the look of the banjo. It's not that they have banjos there, but certainly the whole concept of roots instruments, indigenous instruments to cultures is nothing new, and the whole concept of having some kind of sort of bottom to an instrument that projects sound and a neck where you can chord and make melody is everywhere in the world. And so there was definitely a universal connection to it in that sense. There were instruments, as people have asked me before, did you ever see another instrument with a drone string? And I would say I did see instruments where there were two strings tuned to the same note, in which case one could act as a drone, but I've never seen it played quite the same way as in old-time banjo, where it's a syncopated drone, other than in Africa, because that's where it came from. So anyway, I think that's about the answer. Okay, let's see. One more thing. What should we play? Banjo. Should we do it? It's very unfortunate that Jordan's not on the road with us because he just came up with a really good idea about having the last song connect to the title of the workshop, which is Song of the Traveling Daughter. So we're going to go ahead and do that one, and I'll give you a little bit more information this time about the words. The second verse, did you guys know what the first verse is? Did you hear me out there talking about it? And that means outside your door, the world is waiting. Inside your heart, a voice is calling. The four corners of the world are watching, so go get it, girl. Go do it. Do the deed. Get it done. And the rest of the words are, oh gosh. 梁上干到太阳，脚步随着星光，天地在你左右，有你有你。And that means the sun, the moonlight is shining on your face, and the stars are guiding your feet. You are surrounded. You are surrounded by. You are surrounded. Gosh, how do you say that in English? It's a comforting thing. You are surrounded by goodness, and so go get it, go get it. And then the last one is 走了一山又一山，这山过了那山来，心中有个声音自放到你来，有你有你。And that means you've gone past one mountain. There is another. Keep going. Keep going. That's the idea. Oh, and a voice is calling in your heart. It's travel, daughter, travel. Here we go, without Bela. But we got George. So thanks again for coming, and Thanks for being so supportive of what I'm doing and what Uncle Earl is doing. So glad to be a part of Uncle Earl. And I will head out to the merch table. I'm going to try not to stand back here because other things need to happen here. So I'm going to run out to the merch table and hopefully see you there.